And hello, everyone. Janet Moore here. And we have an exciting, let's see, let me put it up. We have an exciting topic today. We have a guest speaker, and we're going to be talking about navigating Mercury retrograde for intergrowth. And have with us Claudia. Now, the reason we're so late today getting started is because we were having some Mercury retrograde fun already. With some technical difficulties, she's not able to get on the live stream right now. I blame myself. I should have had this. Usually people just click and go, and we were just having some issues getting her on. So she's going to be on the phone in the meantime, and you can listen to her talk about um, what's going on during Mercury retrograde. So, again, I want to go ahead and introduce to you Claudia Thompson. She is what's exciting. Let me kind of get this going here. Let's see, where did I put it? Oh, it went away now. Shoot. And here it is. Let me just kind of tell you a little bit about her. She is an Emmy award winning and renowned lunar astrologer with over 35 years of experience. Her journey has taken her from Hollywood to the moon. Her practical moon powered living system. Oh, there she is. Oh, great. She came in. I'm so excited. Her moon powered living system enables others to live in tune with the rhythms and timing of the very force that moves the tides in the ocean, supporting all life on Earth. The creation of her simple and practical systems guide others to create a vibrant, happy, and relationships, success in business, and to celebrate their unique brilliance and beauty while knowing the right timing for everything. So I'm excited to introduce to you. Here we go, Claudia.
Hello, everyone.
I'm
Hi.
so glad we got that worked out. We're like, oh my gosh, I should have had you do that a long time ago to make sure you could get in fast. So I apologize we didn't do that sooner. But we're here. So here we are, having Mercury retrograde have fun with us already.
We
Great.
are living examples of Mercury retrograde.
That's right. That's right. I don't know if you can move yourself more over to the middle of the screen.
I think I've asked
there.
them.
Oh, perfect.
Does that work?
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, look at your brooch. Oh my God, you look beautiful.
That's the tree of life.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Wow. Nice, nice. Well, so today again we're going to be talking about navigating. Let's see, I'm trying to navigating Mercury retrograde for inner growth. And we're going to talk about how to navigate the changes in snafus, like just we had a while ago, inherent in Mercury retrograde, as well as use this time to upgrade your inner world. So we're going to find out how lunar astrology, how you can use lunar astrology during this Mercury retrograde time. I can't say that word. To communicate more compassion and clarity, bring more beauty, balance, and harmony into your life every day, and become aware of how to set better boundaries. So we're going to be talking about this and other things during our time with Claudia today. So Claudia, why don't you take it away? I think we're going to do a very special, let's see, where is it? We're going to be doing a heart drop meditation. That sounds really exciting. So go ahead and go forth.
This is a really simple technique that you can use at any time. And we are in a time when the global heart is opening. And we talk about heart-centered living and heart-centered relationships. But oftentimes, we're not really physically in our hearts. We don't really know what that feels like, especially since we've experienced trauma, broken hearts, things like that. And so oftentimes, we kind of lock ourselves out of our heart. So we're going to start with this, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. Then we will do it, and then we'll be in our hearts, and we'll begin. Why is this so apropos? Because Mercury is going to be moving retrograde in Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus, love goddess. So we're going to pull beautiful bronze light up to our body, and when it gets to the top of our head, it will join with white light, and you will be golden, and then we will drop. So put your feet on the floor.
And just real quick, Claudia, I don't know, all of a sudden your audio went a little off. I don't know if there's any way you can change it just a little bit. Look, it's kind of mute, muffled. So if there's any way we can correct that. And by the way, while she's doing that, those of you that are listening to this live, please go ahead and press #live so we know you're listening to this live. And those of you listening to it as a replay, push hashtag replay so we know you got to listen to this wonderful meditation and all this great speaker, Claudia. Okay.
So feel the soles of your feet firmly on the ground, legs uncrossed, palms ideally up in your lap, open to receive. Gently close your eyes and just allow the breath to come and go. Notice if your belly is moving, if you're breathing fully. And now, feel bronze light or sea bronze light coming up from about 3.5 feet below the earth through the soles of your feet, filling every cell of your body, from the tips of your toes through your ankles, shins, knees, thighs, pelvic area, all the way up through your torso, up, up, up through your face and your head to the top of your head. And on the exhalation, white light comes down from above your head and joins with the bronze, beautiful, supportive light of the earth. And now you are golden. When the white and bronze light join, they become golden. And you see your mental energy. You feel it move down as you exhale. The energy moves down behind your face, through your neck and throat, down to your beautiful beating heart. And you come to rest there. So we're going to do this again. Breathe in, bronze light. Top of the head white. Pressure exhale. Down behind the facial mask, down into your chest, coming to rest in your heart. I'm going to give you just a few seconds to do 1 or 2 more of those. This is new. When you are in your heart, you will know, because all you will be present with is the sound of my voice. And you will be here with Janet and myself. So 1 more time, up from the soles of our feet, bronze light filling every cell of our bodies, melding with white light, and on the exhalation, we drop. And gently open your eyes.
Nice.
That was
wonderful.
Doing with that, yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. And this is a technique that you can do anytime. Of course, if you're driving, it's not so good. But
Yeah.
you could just do it. And it brings the energy of the earth and the love the earth has for you, and the golden radiant being that you are, to focus in the heart. And when you meditate, you can just move into your heart, breathe in and out of your heart. It'll calm you. Okay.
Nice. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what is Mercury retrograde? And why do we have it messing up our lives 3 to 4 times a year? No? Well, if everything is by divine design, and I feel it is, we have Mercury, that is considered to be the winged divine messenger and the trickster. It has 2 sides to it. So how can we navigate more toward the divine messenger side of it and keep our higher message center open, which doing the heart drop will help with it. And also keep that deep pocket full of humor and patience handy, so that when we have snafus happen, we understand operation. Mercury has to do with the way we think, and all actually. So when Mercury is retrograde, the universe never really moves backwards. And I know that's what it sounds like. But what actually happens is Mercury is very close to the sun. And when it gets to a certain point in its orbit, it seems, from our point of view on Earth, to move in retrograde or reverse motion. And what this does with the energy of planets, which is usually outward seeming, it internalizes the energy. So it gives us an opportunity to really ramp up our inner game, to align our consciousness in a new way. And so today we have Mercury doing what's called stationing to move retrograde, and it's at 25 degrees of Libra. And so that means that it's really slowed down. And you may have felt it for a little while now, and we're going to talk about why that might be. But tomorrow it will officially be in retrograde motion, and that will continue until the 18th of October. So when Mercury is retrograde, it internalizes the energy of communication. So when you make appointments with people, you need to really keep in touch right up until, because oftentimes what happens is, because the communication is so internal, we might not say what we thought we said. We might not have heard what we thought we heard. We might not have put a date in our calendar where we thought it belonged. And we might not have clarity in our relationships to the degree that we wish. So to have that patience, to continue to hone your communication, is really, really important, and coming from the heart. And we have some things going on also with Libra. And one of the things has to do with Mars traveling through Libra. Libra, as I mentioned before, is ruled by Venus. So what does it mean when Mars moves through it? Well, the low side, which is where we don't want to go, can be knee-jerk reactions, not wanting to resolve issues, not being willing to set healthy boundaries and let people know where we really are coming from. The high side is having those healthy boundaries from a compassionate, loving space, and really being willing to clarify your communication with patience.
Interesting. It's funny because I would, I guess I should put myself back in. Just this past week, just some things with relationships has really popped up for me. And really being clear in my communication and really analyzing what, like for the first time maybe ever, really looking at how I be with other people in my communication. So I see this as kind of an awakening period for myself of another level of like where I am in communication and relating to people. And it's gotten a little ugly, you know? And I'm just like, and it's, I'm responsible. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So this is really wild that you're saying this. So thank you.
Well, wherever Mars goes, energy
Mm-hmm.
flows. It
Mm-hmm.
energizes whatever territory it's traveling through. So Mars is energizing our relationship. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because with these RE words, and I'm going to give you folks some of those in a minute so that you can remember these. But especially, and we'll be talking about this a little bit, I'm honored to have Janet's natal coordinates so I can give you a little bit of an example. But when she says that, I go, well, yes, I'm not surprised, because the planets have been working on her, but it's actually a time when we can, and one of the big things is this is a time to recalibrate our communication in our relationships.
Yeah.
Recalibrate.
Okay.
So the thing of being able, Mars isn't happy in Libra. Let's just be frank about it. Mars rules Aries. It's happy across the sky. And it's like, here I am in Libra. And Libra is notorious for not having great boundaries. It's one of the reasons it's the relationship sign, because it welcomes it in. But the other side of that is establishing, having these realizations, these awakenings, which is part of the Mercury retrograde period, and then wanting to establish a boundary firmly, harshly. And this is when, you have to call your angels and guides in all the time. I ask to really be in that space, that higher space, that heart space, because I can tell when I'm talking from my head. I can tell. And Libra is a head sign. This whole year, all the Mercury retrograde periods have been in an air sign.
Oh, really?
So this tells us
that's interesting.
Change your mind, change your life.
Wow. Well, Libra also Libras are all about keeping the peace. So if you think about it, if you want someone that keeps the peace, you probably aren't holding your boundaries.
Well, one of the downsides of Libra can be, it's what's called cardinal energy. And cardinal energy is so actively powerful that it kicks off the seasons. Capricorn, winter, Aries, spring, Cancer, summer, and now Libra, we just had our entry into autumn.
Yeah.
So it's that powerful, and it wants to take action. So you know, when you look at it from that perspective, it really, it's like, it's got a 22-month orb. So here's some of gold for you.
Mhm.
It's got a 22-month orb. So let's say one of your big intentions is, I want a relationship. I want healthy business partners. I want my boundaries clear in my business and in my relationships,
Mhm.
which, by the way, is the Libra challenge, because oftentimes Libra does it at the other end
Mhm.
rather than at the beginning, knowing what one needs for sacred self-care.
Yeah.
So that's when Mars can rise up and be knee-jerk. Also, Mars rules sex. Part of any fun, good relationship, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You
I
know?
was like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I got
Yeah.
it.
It kind of puts a fire in the belly when it comes to relationships.
Mhm.
But it's this thing of having the mind energized without the heart being engaged. And that's why that's why it's beautiful if you put the Mars and Venus together. But it also, because it's the opposite of where Mars feels at home, it can create some reactions that are just mentally, they just go off. They just happen. So that's why breathing. And the last Mercury retrograde in Gemini reminded us it rules the lungs. Mercury has to do with the lungs, arms, hands, and shoulders, and the nervous system. When you take a wonderful breath, and to live fully, you have to breathe.
That's
So
air
when you
too.
take when you take a breath and you feel, and you can put your hands on your belly to make sure your belly's moving. We've all been taught this stuff about flat stomachs. Well, guess what? That's Dantian. That's where the creative force of the universe resides within us. So you want your belly to be moving, like what is it? The bellows of an organ, you know, supporting everything else. So when you breathe, it's like a hit of vitamin D for the myelin sheath that covers your nerves. It's one of the quickest, best things you can do wherever you are. We are a culture that doesn't breathe. You know, that's why yoga and techniques are so important. We tend to be up here, which is what happens when you're in your head. So Libra is about beauty, grace, harmony, balance, justice, and fairness. So the challenge when we talk about peace is Libra at any time, without Mars even being there, can be peace at any price. And interestingly enough, some of the most famous war generals of our time are Libran.
Really?
General
my
Patton
gosh.
is an example.
Wow.
Peace at
Wow.
any price. So
Interesting.
remember that peace is a way of being. It's not an external construct. It's not something you make war to establish. You live in peace within yourself. And so a beautiful mind with this Mercury retrograde creates a beautiful life. And it's a theme that's been present all year. We had an eclipse. We're going to have eclipse season again in November and December, but the most recent eclipse, the solar eclipse in Gemini, and eclipses are big portals, surges of energy that open doors, shedding light into an area and information where it was previously hidden. So that eclipse was conjunct Mercury retrograde. And I've had people all summer long calling me as if it's my fault, saying, didn't Mercury go direct? What the heck is happening here? Well, eclipses have an effect for 6 months, very intensely.
Really?
And then if it's a lunar eclipse, 18 years imprint, 19 years with a solar eclipse. So these are passages that are very important. You can work into the energy because it's going to make an imprint, whether you consciously do this or not. So it was as though that retrograde kept on going. Well, now we know with this retrograde that, oh, no, it wasn't retrograde. It's really retrograde now. But with Gemini, being in Gemini, which rules the media, it was saying, program yourself with love and compassion. Watch your inner program. Do not allow the outside world to program you. You are not controlled unless you agree. So what are you programming yourself with? Hopefully, with Libra, it's another opportunity, massive self-love.
That's what this is all about. This one's all about that. Massive self-love, And so you said, how does it affect us then now? You said what will happen?
Well, it's about consciousness.
Okay.
So when it's in air signs, it has to do, Mercury always has to do with the way we think.
Yeah.
But when
Okay.
it's an air sign, it really reminds us of a harmonious, peaceful, balanced consciousness, that it begins there, because retrogrades are internal. So it's not like, okay, Mercury's retrograde, I might as well just go to bed because it's just going to do all this stuff in my life, especially if Mercury is your chart ruler, like in my case, which is why I've been so adamant in my own practice about looking at how to use it proactively,
Mm-hmm.
because I know it's going to come around and do a little of this to me at some point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you just are aware and drop that consciousness into your heart so that you are engaged, look for what I call a full body yes. If your belly is moving when you breathe, if you've dropped your mind into your heart,
Mm-hmm.
so that you get your yeses, and then the mind can come in and figure it out.
So coming from the heart, from the belly, all that, and then allowing then things to pop in your head or something. Right?
And also, this is in the sign Libra. I mentioned what Mercury rules. You put that together, Libra rules the bladder, the kidneys, and the endocrine system. So really good self-care. And Mercury may bring something up. You know, they say, you need to take a look at this. You need to review this and you know, do what you need to do.
Well, that's what's kind of what happened with me is really looking at some relationships that I'm in right now and deciding if I need to, I'm reevaluating them or evaluating them and deciding what I'm going to do, you know? So it's very interesting.
So let's just mention a tidbit about Janet's chart.
Okay.
Janet was born with the moon in Capricorn. And Libra, this Mercury retrograde is going to be traveling through her 12th house of hidden things, habits of self-undoing, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, and private dreams. This is where we merge with the divine. We leave the physical world behind and we merge with the divine, which goes right along with the divine messages. But because her moon in Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, we know that, first of all, home may be a focus. There may be repairs or things you've needed to do at home that now come back and remind you. But you are absolutely right on, because the planet that rules Janet's moon is Saturn. Saturn is moving in retrograde motion through Aquarius until October. And so since May, you've actually been restructuring, reviewing. And that's one of the things, you know, you may find that you're resisting change, but you may, during this Mercury retrograde, be shown that a reformulation of purpose and restructuring your relationships is something that you want to really look at. Because ultimately, as we move into November, Mercury is going to move over your ascendant, that beautiful Scorpio, powerful ascendant that really wants intimacy. And by the way, folks, intimacy is based on communication. I know that it seems like it's sex, and that's a big part of it, but it's really communication. Because there are many times in life where sex isn't what is the glue that holds you together. It's the ability to be honest with each other and communicate openly and freely. And so you may find, Janet, because the 12th house is also the dumping ground. It's where we leave the past behind, and then when things move over our ascendant, they come out into the light of day, and we reformulate our self-identity according to what we've seen. So this is where this can be a very challenging time for you. It's one of the most Capricorn and Libra are the two signs that may find this to be a challenging retrograde, more so than usual. But you can see the use of it. It's like these things that have been kind of percolating underneath for you. You know, and sometimes when you have a relationship, Donnybrook, or conflict, or good interchange, it's like, oh, okay, I'm getting it now. I'm getting it, and I'll take it to my higher self and get a full body yes or no. And I know that now I need to let this go.
Well, you know, it's funny because also well, I mentioned that some relationships, but also, oh, that's much better. Also, I've noticed, try to get that thing on right there. My business, I'm trying to formulate like who I am for this group. And I can do lots of things, but how do I get my message? Maybe it's different from what I even ever thought of. Maybe it's completely different. I don't know. I'm still kind of in the inquiry of that. What am I offering these? What am I offering? What am I helping them with? Who am I? Like really, I'm really looking at who am I for people.
You're so on target
Mhm.
with the transits that are happening. And I'm not going to go into a whole reading for Janet
Yeah,
right now. We're going to do that at another time. But one of the reasons that I love lunar astrology and why I shifted after decades of doing regular astrology into lunar astrology is because lunar astrology cuts to the chase. I look at the whole universe, but I also deal with the goddess asteroids. I deal with the pre-birth eclipses.
mm,
What do? They tell you what you came to give and what you came to learn.
wow.
Cuts to the chase. So when you look at your soul's purpose, which is what I'm talking about,
Oh,
then you can go, oh, out of alignment. That's why this doesn't feel good anymore.
ah,
That's why, so I just need to shift a little bit over here and get on the right highway to where I'm going.
yeah. Oh, that's good.
And that one of the things that I love to do with people, and I do with a lot of long-term clients particularly, but I do vision mapping.
Oh,
And then we take the vision and we hone it, and then we in all areas, and then we move toward living it and manifesting it with the right timing for everything.
uh-huh.
So Mercury retrograde is one of those times. It's like, why is source doing this to us? It's like, because we have been taught in a patriarchal culture
Go, go,
that's
go.
economically based to go
Go,
till you
go,
burn
go,
out.
go.
And if you burn out, someone will take your place. That's called
Mm-hmm.
enslavement.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a consciousness form that we are releasing now. We are
Yes.
saying,
Oh,
okay,
God, that's so
I've
true.
realized that I've been trained to look at external authority, but I know now that I'm in a place where we have to be responsible. Freedom implies responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peace implies personal responsibility. All of this. So the buck stops with us, and that's when Mercury retrograde kicks in a positive way, because it's like I said, watch yourself talk. Is it sacred between Venus and Mars? Are you nasty to yourself?
Ah,
Do you treat
yeah.
yourself like the sacred being filled with source that you are, the radiant golden being that you truly are? And we're all working on this all the time, because these tapes that we thought kept us safe in reaction to less than loving, possibly experiences as a child, are encoded. And those tapes are still running. It's like we've got this old cassette player that just keeps on
Mm-hmm.
going. But it's our job, with those deep brain grooves that have been created, to have ahas about them,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Release.
pave over them with love, new
Mm-hmm.
affirmations. All of these things are really, Mercury about communication, right? Journal during this. If you haven't journaled before, that's a great thing to do during Mercury retrograde, to start that process, so that you really get in touch with your internal self and the parts that you've been walled off.
So yeah, so that's I guess the thing to really get about people are always like, oh no, Mercury retrograde's coming. It's like, no, this is good. Again, it's the time to stop, smell the roses, look inward, see maybe like inside of agile software development. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about this. We have something called where you do things in a short iterations. So you could say like we have these 4 times a year. So 4 times a year, I guess, right? You look at yourself.
Usually 3, but
Three.
sometimes 4.
Okay, 3 to 4 times. So a short kind of time period that you do the work, do, and then you look back and you retrospect and you go,
Good
wonder what
word.
worked. I wonder what didn't. What's missing? What can I put in? What can I do differently? So we can act, and then that's how you keep. It's called continuous improvement. Continuous improvement on your life. You can think of as Mercury retrograde as a time for you to go inward and see what's been working, like just kind of take a little break, go what's been working, what's not, how can I maybe improve my life to be even more amazing or more powerful or more loving or whatever it is that you want for your life, right? And this is what that time period is for. Is that what you're kind of saying, basically?
You got it, sweetheart. And I love the fact that you use the word retrospect, because these are.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. Retros.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that before.
Yeah, so it's like a retrospective of consciousness regarding the relationships, right? And so let's see, what are some other words? And you'll come up with your own, but that you want them to kind of relate to communication relationships. But anyway, it's a good time to resolve old issues. So resolution, review, revise, recalibrate. I mentioned that. Recalibrate the communication in your relationships. Realization. So those are just some RE words.
Right.
Now we are in a period of time. Why did the summer feel slow? Why does it always feel slow? Is it just the fact that it's summer? Well, yes, it's the waning part of the year. And life is not go, go, go. As far as the rhythms of our body and the whole nature, the whole natural world, it's ebb and flow. So it's one of the reasons that we have a sick culture in many ways, because we live in go, go, go till you burn out.
Yeah.
And life, the true rhythms of life, creation, conception, manifestation are all truly ebb and flow. So this is one of the ways I feel that Source reminds us that it's ebb and flow. And Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, and Uranus are also all retrograde.
Oh, that's right. And not just Mercury. All of these planets are retrograde, right?
And they all have their own RE, right? So Saturn, restructure. Look at the limitations in your life and how you can make a blueprint out of that. Because Saturn says, if you build something, I will pay you back for your hard work and your strategic actions. Jupiter is about expansion. And both Saturn and Jupiter are in the sign of the visionary, Aquarius. So what's your vision for humanity? This is an overarching theme that we have now.
Yeah, all of us are looking at that right now, right? All of us really are almost forced to now, because of what's going on in the world, right?
Yeah, and then Jupiter says, whatever you focus on, I'll expand. So your decisions, your vision dictates your decisions. So if you don't have a vision, well, call me. We'll get one going for you, right. Because you want to be living your vision. That's going to be how you maintain peace in your soul, is so that rather than looking out or looking at media, which seeks to program us and keep us in the past, look out at your world. How are you living and walking your vision from the heart every day? And then Jupiter also really wants you to expand spiritually. So, reconnecting to what you want to have expand in your life. Is it your waistline? Probably not, but Jupiter can do that if you're not focused on healthy nutrition. Again, Libra says balance. Balance. Where are you not balanced in the way you're thinking about things? Are you eating emotionally? And then Pluto says, how do you use power? We're seeing it in the big halls of power. Pluto is what's called an outer planet. Therefore, it moves the whole collective. So it's not like you can use it personally, but you can look at how to flow with it. And since Pluto has been in Capricorn, we've seen the idea of power in our systems breaking down. So Pluto says, how do you use power in your own life? And since it is in square right now, as Mercury moves in retrograde motion, it's squared Mercury. Pluto is square Mercury. It says, are you involved in relationships, or do you espouse relationships that are based on power plays? Is power force? You think it's an external construct, pushy, or you know that it's inherent? That the more you are in balance within yourself, the more, again, I say sacred self-care, the more you're dedicated to that ebb and flow and taking time for good sacred self-care, the more you're going to have a different interaction with your world and the world you're creating.
Nice. That's so cool. Thank you for going through all those, because I remember you talking about that earlier when we talked before about it's not just Mercury in retrograde. No. It's like a bunch of planets in retrograde. So again, like what to focus on, but all of those are
inner work. You said it earlier. Yeah. inner work. It's about your inner game.
Mhm.
And I just to give you a hint, it's like, okay, so I'm working on loving myself. I love myself. I'm doing okay, but I really want that other person in my life. I really want a happy, healthy, all round loving relationship that can be based on trust. So, of course, you ask yourself, do you trust yourself? Again, Capricorn squaring Libra right now says, do you trust yourself? How are your trust issues? And oftentimes, if we don't trust other people, it's because we're not listening inward or we don't trust ourselves. And of course, sometimes there are people who aren't worth our trust. So we need to know that they're not worthy of that either. But
Our boundaries.
yes,
Boundaries, right?
knowing you're enough.
Mm-hmm.
You are enough. You don't have to be more than enough, less than enough. You're enough. You're a child of the universe. Source created you and delights in you every day. You're sustained by an earth that loves you. She could shake us all off. But no, we are gifted with what we need. Most of us listening to this particularly, we have what we need every day and more. So, so when you're looking at creating a happy relationship, I want you to do some feelization. And this is something that I do, and it's really the true secret to all manifestation in all areas of your life, because we have our emotions, which are the lower chakras. We have our visualization and thoughts, which is our head stuff. And then we have our feelings, where both come together in the heart and create, because they create a frequency that manifests. So when I met my husband, I met him 37 years before I met him again. But I didn't know that this was the guy. I had no idea. He was in New York. I was in Southern California. But every day, I would leave the door open. I'd be finishing with my clients. And I would say, "Hi, honey. There's some wine breathing. There's a salad in the refrigerator. If you can't wait for a few minutes, go for it. I love you." I'd go to bed at night. I'd feel him next to me. And I did clearing. I did transformative breath work that cleared my stuff. And it turned out there was some stuff way back from my birth.
Right.
So clearing and then healing. What does it feel like? Just go in and allow yourself to do a little deep feel from into feel that intention to have a healthy, all-round, loving, supportive relationship explode into every cell of your body. And just until you got a big smile on your face. And do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Look at how would you make room in your life for this? There's so many of us that really workaholics. So, doing visualization to create health, to create wealth, to create relationships that you want, and do that in business too. What's
abundance.
It look like and feel like to have a real collaborative situation. And then you want to also, talk to me about where their moon is and where everything's going on. Yeah. Because the moon has to do with who you are behind closed doors. We all think, oh, the sun sign. My sun sign, his sun sign are the same. Aren't we, Well, no. That's the conscious expression. But who that person is, there's the heart that chase, and there's this wonderful act that gets put on sometimes. But when you know where the moon is, you know who that person is behind closed doors.
Ah, interesting.
How they perceive nurturing and security from the time they were children. And I know I had someone, relationship reading that I'm going to be doing the other day, and he said, so do you tell people just to get out of Dodge, get away from that person? And I said, only if there's abuse.
Abuse. Okay.
Yeah.
Your audio is going in and out, so sometimes
I don't know why. Blame it on Mercury Retrograde.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got plenty of battery. Is it still doing that?
No, it doesn't. It just, like, I hear you clearly now, but all of a sudden you'll be muffled.
Sorry,
I don't know if you're
folks.
Moving or something or what it is, but
I'm sitting in a chair. Blame it on.
Okay. Maybe it's the cellular service.
I mean, we're gonna be having this. It's gonna be going on, and because these outer planets are going to be moving in direct motion in October, 3 of them, Pluto, Uranus won't be. It'll be moving direct the day before Christmas. But the rest of the 3 that I named, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, will be moving retrograde from the first week in October through the 18th, when Mercury's direct. So, yeah, the snafus, etc. But what it means is those are planets that are farther out away from the sun than Mercury. So as they get ready to turn direct, they're going to slow down even more.
Mm.
So remember the heart drop and the patience. And remember that Mars will put energy toward the high side, toward the relationships you want. What do you want to build in the area of your relationships and the consciousness around relationships over the next 22 months?
Yeah, so kind of go inward to figure that out. Like, a lot of my coaching is figuring out not only looking inward, figuring out who you are, seeing the patterns and blocks, removing those, and then creating what you want, the life you want, the relationships you want. So again, all that stuff kind of going inwards. These are those times, like I said, the retrospective, the retrograde. I think it would be cool if they called it retrospective time instead of retrograde time. You know what I mean? I know it's retrograde, but like, like let's reframe this whole retrograde into retrospective time,
Well, it just refers to the motion. The
retrograde
refers to the motion, but it absolutely is a retrospective time.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is to remember, if you're doing good self-love and you do open your mouth at the wrong time and blurt something out, wow, what a wonderful wake-up call. If you're conscious enough and self-loving enough just to own that, because then when we're talking about recalibrating your communication, you get to see. You also might get to see what's been burbling underneath the surface that then goes, bleh.
Right, like, exactly.
Wow, I've never, especially with Libra energy, I've never been able to actually say that to you. But what happens with Libra energy, with the lack of boundaries, because the phrase "fools rush in where angels fear to tread." So we love before we know is another way to put it. Michael Ventura said that years ago, and I love it. We love before we know. So the Venus is magnetic. It attracts that love, and we get excited. And here's an example. So a woman has a farm, and this fella comes, and she falls in love. She gives him the keys to the chicken coop. She gives him the keys to everything. And so then one day he goes off to work, and she has a big aha. She goes to make an omelet, and there are no eggs in the chicken coop. And she realizes that he's used the eggs. Well, she gave him carte blanche, no boundaries. So he goes out, and she has the lock changed on the door. She has a cinder block frame built around the door. And he comes home, the key doesn't work, and he's like, "Well, what happened? I thought we were doing so well." She's like, "Well, I'm setting some boundaries, and it's like all or nothing." Instead of communicating all the way along, being brave, courageous, courage, concur, French. So having the courage to learn how to not have it be a lack of boundaries that then turns into fiercely naturally.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where I am right now with someone. And I realized I didn't even know I had all this stuff going on with this person. And so now I realize I blurted out a bunch of stuff, and it was from, like you're saying, stuff that I didn't even know that I was upset about until now. Now I'm really looking inward, trying to figure out, what am I going to do? Like, what do I really want with this relationship to be? And it's very different for me because I'm used to having pretty happy, good lucky relationships. And this one has just been a little struggle. And so I'm kind of like looking at, how do I've always, I don't know, how do I accept this person and still have a relationship with the kind of relationship I want to have with them?
Well, you and I will talk.
Yes.
Because when you combine two charts, first of all, you look at your own natal energetics as far as what you want out of relationship and how you are behind closed doors, etc., and what's being highlighted for you right now regarding relationships. And then you take the other person's data and you combine them, and you do comparison to see what synergy is there and where you're going to have to work a little hard to find that basis of communication. And then there's something called a composite chart as well. And that's the kind of the energetic entity that's created by both of those coming together and producing one chart. So, you know, and then you come to the point of, do I want to learn to communicate with this person? When I go into my heart, do I really love them? Do I like them? Sometimes those are two different things, right? You know, we can love somebody forever, right? But not like them. Right. So, you know, and sometimes they are absolutely great in our lives, but not as that singular love relationship. So those are all things that one can discover. And Mercury around communication. I know I had a client a couple months ago, and her mate had a lot of Cancerian energy, a lot of Cancer energy, Sun and Moon, both. He was a moon child. She had Capricorn moon and not a Cancer sun. But she said, I just, you know, that he's wonderful, but he's so emotional. What do I do? So we worked, and she now has tools of what she can literally do in her body. But when he starts to speak, because she has to feel him, because he operates on a feeling level. And so now she's able to communicate with him much more calmly and with much more comprehension, understanding where he's coming from.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's great. And that's what I put up here. It says, get your lunar session with Claudia to navigate your, what's going on right now, and just in general with your life, right? So not just from retrograde, but like she can look at your moon chart, your whole chart, your natal chart in general. And if you are looking, maybe having some struggles with relationships, she can of course do what she just mentioned for you. This is really great. You're incredible, Claudia, and I'm so thankful. Is there anything you want to leave us with before we go?
I was just going to mention the shadow.
Oh, right. Yes.
Might help you be a little more patient. I don't know, but at least you'll know you can blame it on Mercury retrograde.
Okay.
So what the heck is the shadow?
Yeah.
Well, this Mercury retrograde is going to go back from 25 degrees of Libra to 10 degrees of Libra. So, and, we're going to have a new moon next on October 6th, which is a Wednesday, a couple of weeks from now. So the shadow is when Mercury first gets to the degree that it's going to go back to. So on the 6th September, a few weeks ago, we had Mercury move into the shadow period. And then really began to feel the slowdown on the 13th. And that has to do with its greatest elongation. So we moved into slowdown then. So now, retrograde motion until the 18th of October. Sometimes when Mercury is rest, well, okay, good.
Can hear you.
The universe moves forward like a locomotive, not a rocket. And so it's sort of like, okay, Source says, we're not going to waste all these wonderful ahas and realizations that you've had. You're going to move forward on them slowly. And so the speed up will really be felt on the 25th. And then we will be back to 25 degrees, where this all begins to go on the, at the end of October. So that's why sometimes Mercury retrograde it's like I thought you said it was for 3 weeks.
So you said it feels really long. It's kind of hard to hear you a little bit.
Well, it feels like it's, and there's a buzz. There's a buzz going on in the background from somewhere, and I don't know where it's coming from. So I don't know if you're all hearing that. I think I'm projecting. I think I'm speaking probably. Anyway.
Oh no, it's just it's not you. It's something in your audio is going in and out. And sometimes you're muffled, and sometimes we can't hardly hear you at all. And then sometimes I hear you perfect. Most of the time I hear you perfectly.
I guess we're lucky we can talk at all.
Right.
But anyway, just, this is the thing.
Yeah.
And these bigger planets that I mentioned, these outer planets that I mentioned,
yeah,
have an even longer shadow period. So this is something, it's really grace. Grace is one of the words that is Libran. So think of it as grace, that we are now in 1,000 years of the feminine.
Getting ready, yeah, starting that, right?
When we entered 2000, the 2 is feminine. So that's 1,000 years, and we're already seeing strides forward. It's not about the feminine overtaking anything. It's about moving from her story to his story to our story. So that to me is the new word, our story.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. Our story.
And it tells you that, like the restructuring you're thinking of, Janet, when you're thinking of restructuring what you want to do and your purpose and aligning more with that, bumping it up to some new invention. It's like Source says, I'm not asking you to jump up out of bed and be like a rocket. I'm giving you time to move forward step by step, so you build solidly. And so we're all here to build it. That's what this is about. Growing your soul to its full potential and magnificence within this personality construct.
Nice.
So
I love that. That's awesome. Well said.
the shadow on either end, it gives us time to do that. And during this time, when we've been dealing with this worldwide shift in consciousness and awakening, when you think of that, and that the planets started moving retrograde in May, that means that February, really, we had shadow periods beginning. As we formed our vision, because February is about getting the vision formulated, and moved through the year, we were really being supported and going after a better vision, bigger vision, one that's all inclusive.
Yeah, nice.
We've exited the time. One of the big shifts with this new age, which we kind of opened the door wide to Aquarius with the grand conjunction in the winter solstice, and that's a whole other topic.
Okay, yeah.
But now we're in unity, community, groups, friends, and a vision for humanity. Yeah. So the lone wolf or the solopreneur is not what's being supported now. This also brings another underscoring or relevance, some goodie to this Mercury retrograde in Libra. It's like, what do I want in my business? If I am forming a team, what is it that's my purpose, my laser focus, so that I can have other people do these other things that support my focus, that they enjoy doing, that they're really good at.
Yes.
That is not my laser focused sole purpose. And so this is something that's really, really wonderful to look at during this Mercury retrograde. What does team mean to me? How can I communicate so that it's win-win, while still being the leader in my own life?
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, because that's a lot of people, like you said, the lone wolf, the solo person, the lone wolf. Instead of like realizing that you don't have to do it on your own. It takes a village, right? So like that kind of a mentality.
And we
can be together, united together, and do it instead of on our own. So I love that.
And we're not, we'd be on a planet by ourselves if we were supposed to do it alone.
Yeah, right.
And also when it allows other people to bring their gifts to the table. I feel like one of the things that we've all craved during these past 2 years is true connection.
Yeah.
Hugs, literal hugs. Not virtual is wonderful. Thank heavens we've had it, but it's not the same as live interaction.
Really connection.
So we're looking at, okay, so what does connection mean to me? How can I connect more effectively, more lovingly, more satisfyingly, where it fulfills both? So when you have team, or let's say you have a relationship and somebody, your mate says, well, I'll clean the house. Okay. And they clean the house and you're like, you come home and you're like, well, there's still a spider web in the corner and there's still this going on. But to them, they've organized everything. Looks good. You can either rip them a new one, or you can say, wow, isn't it amazing? They took their time and did the best job they could. Now, are they the person you want to hire to clean your office? Probably not.
Yeah.
But remember, control and unconditional love do not go together.
Mhm.
Control is conditional love. If you
Mhm.
do this, if you are this, then I will love you.
Yeah.
And that comes from us, right? That comes from
Mhm.
us. Why didn't I do better? Why aren't I this? Why aren't I more? It's like, no, you're not.
Fair enough. Yeah, exactly. Acceptance, right? That's what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, definitely. Nice. Well, anything else last minute? Because I think we want to try to. We've gone almost an hour, so that's kind of exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's just time flies. You're having fun.
Yeah. No, just I think there's a link if you would like to schedule a reading.
Mhm.
That's a link to a calendar, and I'm offering my friends and family rate. So
Okay.
that's 25% off. And if you want a little relationship at work in there, which is usually even more, I will put that in with it.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I want you to get on a really wonderful track to have fabulous relationships as a result of this Mercury retrograde.
Okay, great. Yeah, so all of you, really, she's incredible. Oh my gosh, just amazing. As you can see, she's a wealth of knowledge, as you can tell. She really knows her stuff, and she can help you, not, like I said, not only during this retrograde period, but also just, like I said, with relationships, with your life in general, maybe even with business. It just depends on what you're really
Yeah.
looking for.
Get
So,
ready for 2022. It's going to be a very different
right.
year. And
Yeah.
Janet, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thanks for being here. Oh my gosh, Claudia, you're so amazing. You're so much fun. You and I could just probably talk forever and ever, but I think we'll probably need to wrap this up now. so, so thank you so much for being here. And I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh,
Oh
and
yeah, go ahead.
they if you have a question or you just want to message me, Moon Powered Astrology on Facebook. Moon Powered
Okay.
Astrology. That's my page, and you can message me there, and I'll get back to you.
Oh well, good. Well, thank you. Yes. So definitely message her. Moon Powered Astrology is the name of the group we said, or the
That's my business
hey?
page.
Oh, the business page. Okay, Moon Powered Astrology business page.
And there are videos there at every new and full moon,
Oh,
so you
nice.
can see what's going on
Oh,
with the planet.
good. Yeah, that's
Get
nice.
your magnetic mojo working.
That's right. Your magnetic mojo. That's right. I love that. I have my mojo vibe. I like magnetic mojo better. Um, so yeah, so definitely get in contact with her if you want to just ask her questions, or if you want to, ask her questions about the reading, so you can schedule a reading with her. I'll go ahead and put the link to both of those in a minute when we're done. In there again, if you're listening to this live, please push hashtag live so we know you're listening, and hashtag replay if you're listening to replay. Thank you so much, Claudia, for being here. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to you, and then I'm going to stay on. You're welcome to listen, or you can go either way, but I'm going to have a little bit of announcements. I mean, you can stay and listen or be on here if you want. But just so thank you again for being here. We're going to go close out our speaker here today. Sorry. So I have a couple of announcements for the group. One of the big announcements is I'm moving the happy hour time. It's going to be I'm going to do 2 of them every time because we have a lot of people in the UK. I noticed when I asked the question to the group, where do you live? Most of the people live in the UK right now. I'll be pushing, for some ads for different areas of the world soon. So we might get different people from all over the world. But I'm going to have one for happy hour for the UK people and happy hour for the United States people. Or actually, well, we could say the European time frame and the American time frame, right? Because depending on where you are in America, it could be 4 hours difference, right? Or 3 hours, I guess, difference, whatever. So I just want you to know I'm going to be doing happy hours, and I'm going to change the time, at least for this week, because I will be at a women's immersion talking about Mercury retrograde and looking inward. That's what I'm going to be doing. I actually walk the talk. I'm going to be looking inward myself during this time at a women's immersion event. So next weekend. So I won't be able to do. We were going to skip next week's live stream, and I will. And actually, what I'm going to do is here. I'll go ahead and take you off, so you don't have to sit there and just look beautiful. So okay, bye, Claudia. Um, so I'm going to be moving the live. I'm going to be playing around with the live stream times because I know it's really difficult when you have when you have working with people all over the world. So I'm looking to get some feedback on when you would like the times. So this week, since I'm going to be in the women's immersion event, I'm going to do the happy hour and the live streams at different times and see if those work better. So just to let you know, if you don't, you're wondering it's not on a Saturday, it's not on a Sunday, Janet. Well, I'm moving them to make sure we can accommodate you better. So again, thanks for answering all my icebreaker questions in the group, and please post things. Again, we have a Telegram channel where you can post things more. You could say not Facebook or YouTube savvy kind of posts, if you know what I mean. Post those in the Telegram and join our Telegram group, because and there you can interact more with as far as the things you want everyone to know about what's going on in the world right now. Still keep interacting and posting things that you think are Facebook safe, because we don't want to get our group shut down. Go ahead and post those in the group, the other things, and interact with people. Reach out to people in the group. That's what this is all about. Awaken dating, meeting like-minded people. I keep the group very, very pure as far as I know all of y'all are saying I want to meet someone that's awake, that's not jab. So I ask those questions to make sure that happens. So anyways, I hope y'all having a great week, and I will see y'all next time. Not sure when that will be, but it will be in the next week and a half at least. Okay, y'all take care. Bye-bye.